Now we've got Ron from Petland, Iowa City, and he's just finished up some pretty cool work with Purdue researchers. And tell us about it.
Wendy and I have owned that store, Petland, Iowa City, for 10 years. And when we came into the store, we were, how can we help the breeder community throughout Iowa? And so we've been working with them locally all this time. And there's some really cool things happening. We talked about it on the air about 2 months ago. Just phenomenal what people are doing. Kennels that look better than the nicest kitchen you've ever seen. It's just like, wow. This one is Purdue is about to release this year canine care guidelines for all the breeders across the nation. So this isn't just Iowa.
So it's everyone.
And they've been doing pilot projects, and I've talked with them, 3 years ago. I go, how can we get that pilot project here? We'd like to start it as soon as possible. I got a call last week. Candace Crony's coming to town, and that's the researcher doing everything. So I'm like, I'm there. Canceled all my appointments, got down there, and for the last 2 days, and I am really tired.
We were just talking to you. You're like, I was up all night with these researchers.
They go crazy. But what was neat is what they're doing in the field and the difference that they're making. So they're working with not only the health of the dog, and there's a lot of great standards out there for health of the adults and the puppies and everything like that. But there's no regulations, no guidelines on the well-being, the behavioral aspects of those dogs. That is what I was amazed on and what they're doing. Those are two of the pillars that Candace is working with on Purdue on all this. And it was just neat to learn from a science perspective, what are the best practices, the physical health. And we've got even some descriptions coming up on the screen.
Okay, so here's some of that. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things too, is because breeding, it's important for the breeds that we have to continue breeding and to keep that going. But that's also one of the things that scares people the most is breeding.
Yes, and the behavioral, which is the next pillar, is really interesting because they showed how that is bred into the puppy through mom and dad.
So the way they act.
Yes, and we were in the kennels and they were talking about, now look at how mom is reacting. Mom is now teaching her puppies to do exactly that. You know, we think of these things, and I was thinking of my own house on that. I'm like, this is fascinating. How do we help mom react better so that she teaches the puppies those behaviors and everything? First 8 weeks of a puppy's life are really significant in learning those behaviors.
Right. It's just like a human mom. Like, you want to make sure she's the best mom she can, and a good mom is going to, help kids with good habits.
There is so much commonality. Yeah, that's the way we kept on going. So environmental needs, increasing the activity that they have and everything. And so we talked about that. We're now building swing sets for dogs.
Well, because they got to be active and healthy, right?
Yes, and they go down slides and all sorts of stuff.
I've seen that at like daycares for dogs and stuff, and I was like, what in the world is that there for?
We brought that in about 5 years ago. We started putting little tykes all over the place and just seeing what they would do. Yeah, and it was one of those. So now they're actually making them for dogs, and that's really interesting as well. Another one is breeding life for the adult and retirement. So now just think, one of the researchers put out 3 times as many dogs are euthanized for behavioral issues as compared to cancer. Well, gosh, if that was a health issue, we'd be all over that, trying to figure out what is that health issue. So they are now going, okay, let's hit that behavioral issue so that, and this is applied to the dogs that are in our own house, because we know that the shelters have, that's the biggest issue, is behavioral issues for them. So helping not only the breeder, but that we can bring that into the community. And then finally, we've got the caretaker expectations. So this is, how does that caretaker handle the dogs? What kind of education are they going through on a continuous basis? So these are the 5 pillars that they bring to the breeder. It is totally voluntary. But from a consumer's perspective, if it says canine care certified, and that breeder is canine care,
you know what you're getting.
You know, it's that stamp of approval.
Those are happy, healthy, well taken care of dogs that will behave well when you have them.
And you know what's going behind, happening behind the scenes kind of a thing, so that, I feel good about this. So that's what's coming. They're going to be releasing it later this year. We've got pilot programs now coming into place in Iowa here as well. So it's ramping up, going fast, and it's really, really exciting.
And if you want to know anything else more about this, I'm sure Ron will love to talk to you. Just check him out at Petland, Iowa City. He'll go over it all with you, make you feel comfortable, and maybe if you want to breed, learn how to do it yourself. It's now 7:40 on this Thursday, and we'll be right back on Fox 28.
All right, well, the first forecast is featuring a cold day, but we are warming as we